Now you can hear. No occasion you didn't hear. Yes.
Last time we were talking about gross intellect is the one that operates in the material aspects.
Yes.
So these are coming from philosophy.
Yes.
Now, so and we have this concept of intelligence as well.
Yes.
Intelligence can also be manipulated and also can be used for the good.
Yes.
Now, this whole thing then has this aspect of selfishness.
Yes.
Does selflessness come in only when selflessness come in only when the subtle intellect starts functioning? Or can there be somebody who's completely unselfish, willpower, gross intellect, but not about power?
Did you all hear any question? You all didn't hear any question, no? I also didn't hear. And whenever she asks a question, I will switch off. And then I'll give an answer. Whatever I want to give, I give us answer. So, Meera, she's asking, does unselfishness and selflessness come into play only with subtle intellect? Correct? Does does unselfishness or selflessness come into play only when subtle intellect comes into play? Otherwise, it is only a play of the gross intellect, and the gross intellect is equated with is intelligence, and intelligence is equated with selfishness. I am not complicating, that's the question. Yeah. Don't look at me like that. That's a question that she has asked. Now we will try to help her out. To be selfish or unselfish or selfless, don't equate that with intellect. Again, don't equate selfish, unselfish, selflessness with intellect. Then what you equate it with? It's an attitude that you develop because of right knowledge and understanding. I'll come to that later. First thing is, intelligence per se, you cannot call it as wrong, bad. Neither can you call it as good. Intelligence is a tool on whose hands it is. On a selfish hands, it is very different. In an unselfish hand, it is different. In a selfless hand, it is different. Again, intelligence is a tool. Tool means a neutral entity. By itself, it doesn't do anything. So, the hand that holding it decides. You follow? So, when we talk about development of intellect, wherever we talk about the development of intellect, keep it like this. You can be a highly unselfish doer of good in the world and not be interested in liberation at all, and not be interested in God at all. Are you will follow? You can be a very good person as far as the value systems and being helping the others, etc. But you may not have any interest in divine or liberation. Are you able to follow? Subtle intellect comes into play only when the discussion about God comes in. So equate subtle intellect to understanding about God. Are you able to follow? Always equate subtle intellect with what? Equate subtle intellect with thoughts of reality, God. That's all. There is no selfish, unselfish. A selfish person also can think about the divine and try to become unselfish, unselfless. A unselfish person may not be thinking about divine at all. Are you able to follow the difference? Therefore, a person is feeling very bad that people are dying of infection. He thought, what can I do to help the people dying of infection? So he discovered penicillin. That is intelligence. A very unselfish, noble act using intelligence for the welfare of the world. Like they say, the fellow who discovered the car belt refused to take patent. If that fellow has taken patent on that, what would have happened? Passive income. Something this other, they call something as aggressive income and they call something as passive income. The passive income that fellow will be making will be in, nobody can beat that fellow. Why? Because wherever the car belt is used, he has to be paid. But that fellow said, no, this is a very useful tool that is going to save the life of many. Therefore, I am not going to take a patent on this. It's a very unselfish act. It's a very unselfish act. You follow what I'm saying? But nothing to do with divine, nothing to do with God. Therefore, an unselfish person can use the intelligence for the welfare of the world. Still, it will fall under gross intellect only. It will not come under subtle intellect. What is subtle intellect? Conviction about the, not conviction, discrimination about the divine and inquiry into the divine, accepting it or rejecting it. That comes later. So an inquiry into the divine is the play of subtle intellect. It has got nothing to do with selfish or unselfish or selfless. A highly unselfish person may not be interested in inquiring about God at all. A highly selfish person may start thinking about God and wanting to attain liberation. Both are possible. Therefore, subtle intellect means discrimination about, inquiry about God. Subtle intellect means inquiry about God, nothing else. You follow? Nothing else matters except God. Gross intellect means I can do something for my benefit, or I can do something for the larger benefit, or I can do something for mutual benefit. I will also want something, I will also want to help. So I could have, so that fellow could have said, for every seat belt that is used, give me 10 cents. Because I also want to make some money. Now you can't call that man as selfish or anything. You follow what I'm saying? Supposing a person has taken a patent on it, you can't call that person selfish again. Are you able to follow? Here, we don't discuss it in that manner. Bringing in selfish, unselfish, selfless, and the intellect is going to be only mixing up things that need not be mixed up. You follow? There's no need to mix it. Don't equate subtle intellect means unselfish, or don't equate subtle intellect means selfless. Yes, Ram Subramanian.
We had last week's earnings.
Yeah.
So the two main learnings. Why if a person A is say X percentage sattvic plus Y percentage rajasic, said tamasic.
Yes,
So you said in all activities, he or she will be having the same proposition.
correct.
And in all relationships also, the same percentage or proposition will hold good, right?
Yes,
So in my understanding, sir, I'm okay with X plus Y plus Z of the what is the activity, all activities.
yes,
But in relationships, because it involves another person.
yes,
So A is related to B, okay? And
Yes.
then A is related to C also.
yes,
So let me say A is something, 40 rajasic and 10% tamasic.
yes,
Now relating with the person B, who's heavily something, 80%,
yes,
and plus 10% something, rajasic and tamasic, right? So that is one example, sir. Okay, so these characteristics of opposition in the relationship, right? Because it was two people's characteristics. Will A not get influenced by B, right? In this case, and with C get heavily realistic, 80% realistic, 10 something, 10,000, right? Again, so the first relationship already heavily something very calm and peaceful. The second one already heavily sort of confused, agitated, right? So between A and B and A and C, get
Yeah.
will be understanding.
The question that Ram Subramaniam asking is, we said last week about whatever percentage of sattva, rajas, tamas you have, that will show in all your activities. You can't be like very sattvic in food and very tamasic in music. It won't have that kind of extreme variation. So there will be something that will spread, that will show across all your life activities, including relationships. That's a statement made. Now, question Ram Subramaniam asking is, there is a 50% sattvic person and there is a 80% sattvic person. So there are three people now. One is 50% sattvic, another is 80% sattvic, another is 80% rajasic. Correct proportion? So he's bringing in three people now. 50% sattvic, 80% sattvic, and 80% rajasic. So what will be the nature, or let us call them as A, B, and C? What will be the relationship between A and B? What will be the relationship between A and C? So on the A, yaru? Who's that A? Silambarsan. அவரே சொல்லிக்கிறார் இல்லையா? He's saying நான் தான் அந்த ஏன்றாரு. So he's meeting two people now. One is 80% sattvic, another is 80% rajasic. What will be the nature of relationship? That 80% sattvic fellow, you cannot disturb that fellow. That 80% rajasic fellow can disturb you. Again I repeat. Again I repeat. That 80% sattvic fellow is there. So if I am relating to the one who is 80% sattvic, I cannot disturb that person, because that is sattva guna itself. Now reverse it. Now there is 80% rajasic fellow that I am relating to. What will happen? I will be, that person can disturb me. You follow? 50-50 sattvic, you are also 50, the other person is also 50. Abada. There will be some stability in that relation. Are you able to follow? Therefore, how does it actually help, like, how does it actually help in the relationships? How does it actually help in the relationships? Your sattva guna, to whatever extent you are sattvic, irrespective of who the other is, whether they are sattvic or rajasic or tamasic, to the extent that you are sattvic, to that extent your relationship will have a sattvic element. You follow what I am saying? Irrespective of irrespective of the percentage of the others. When I say irrespective of the percentage of others means if that person is predominantly Rajasic or Sattvic or Tamasic, depending upon your Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna quality, you will get influenced. Yes, you will get influenced. Supposing if your Rajo Guna, if the other person is 80% Rajasic and you are 30% Rajasic, definitely there will be a affectation. If the other person is Tamasic and you are Rajasic, again there will be an affectation. So your affectation is dependent upon not the Sattva Guna of the other. Are you able to follow? Your affectation or non-affectation is entirely dependent on the percentage of your Sattva Guna or the combination of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Meaning, mind in its own place can make a hell out of a heaven or a heaven out of a hell. Again, we have seen it any number of times. Mind in its own place can make a heaven out of a hell or a hell out of a heaven. It means there is that percentage outside. The effect that it has on you is entirely dependent upon your guna proportion. You follow? There will be that your affectation or non-affectation is not because of the Sattva, Raja, Tamo Guna of the other. It is entirely dependent upon your combination. Meaning, you can be highly agitated with a person like Krishna or Rama. A person of Krishna, Rama can cause you so much of agitation, so much of anger, so much of things. With Ravana, Mandodari can live very peaceful. With Rama, you can live an agitated life. With Ravana, you can live a peaceful life. It means what? It means whether the other is Rama or Ravana is entirely dependent upon what effect they have on you is dependent upon your proportion. You follow what I am saying? Entirely dependent upon your proportion. Is it okay? Yes. The question is, a person is selfless. A person is 100% selfless, but no inquiry about God. Will that person attain moksha? Will the person attain moksha? That's an impossibility. That's an impossibility because the very selflessness itself leads, that very selflessness itself, there will be an inquiry about the divine anyway. The very selflessness, there will be an inquiry about the divine anyway. What is possible is they may not be very articulate, or they may not be able to elaborate or explain in the way that we are sitting and doing. That possibility, that may not happen. Are you able to follow? But definitely selflessness means that fellow will be interested in the divine, because mind by nature will be very comfortable with unselfishness. Selflessness can come in only when there is divine. Are you able to follow? Selflessness and divine are two sides to the same coin. A person, why do we say that? In unselfishness also, there is a trace of ego. Unselfish means less selfish. Less selfish means less ego. Okay. Selfish means more ego. Unselfish means less ego. Selfless means no ego. Are you able to follow? Unselfish. Okay. Make it like that, it becomes easy. Make an equation like that. Selfish means more ego. Correct? Huh? It's very simple. Unselfish means less ego. But nevertheless, there is a play of ego. Selfless means no ego. Now, no ego is nothing but divine. So, by default, that person will be divine by that person will be divine by nature and understand. They may not be able to articulate it or give a discourse. That is different. But definitely that person will be divine by nature, because selflessness means no ego. From more ego to less ego to no ego. So instead of using the word ego, we use the word selfish, unselfish, selfless. Selfish, unselfish, selfless. The state of no ego, why will anybody aspire to get to the state of no ego? If there is a human being aspiring to get to the state of no ego, means there is that divine inclination. Otherwise, no ego state can never come. You follow what I'm saying? Yes. Yeah. Second question. Wait 1 second.
So also there are some questions from Ranjan ji.
Okay. Is it a different question or a? Okay, we'll finish this gross subtle intellect and then come to Ranjini's question. Yeah.
Still, this gross and subtle. If
Yes.
I don't believe in God.
Yes.
But as you said, I should have investigated and taken a call that there's something called a supernatural God.
Correct.
We know when somebody investigates, the true investigation would mean they are asking questions on, is there something beyond what I experienced? If that question comes, he's not investigating. Is that understanding correct? So when people come and say, I don't believe in God, even let's say a man of science comes and tells us, but there is nothing like everything. Science will one day eventually. He's not really considered reality. We assume that.
The question is, if an atheist comes and says, most of the time, not most of the time, all the time, all human beings are atheist by nature. Even those who say, I believe in God, is also atheist by nature. How do you say that? Because they still ask the question, why me alone? Why me alone? They still ask the question. So even those who claim to be theists are not theist. They're simply atheist. A investigative atheist is a very dynamic person. Please understand that. An investigative atheist, a person who is questioning in the true sense of the term, even if he says, I don't believe, very soon that conviction will change for that person. Because the very nature of inquiry is that. Nowadays, what we call as atheism is not. Because there's no inquiry. It is just a simple pratyaksha pramana based, that's all. That which I can't see don't exist. There's no inquiry there. Are you able to follow? Most of the people who don't believe in God are simply in the 4 stages of development. Where are they? Oscillating between age of gazing and age of superstition. They have not even come to the age of scientific inquiry. So atheist means one who has come to the level of scientific inquiry, and anybody who has done a scientific inquiry to the core. Okay, to make the difference very clear, what is the difference between a scientist and the science teacher? A science teacher need not be a scientist. Yes or no? There is a difference between a scientist and a science teacher. Outside the science teacher also looks like, from outside, a science teacher also will look like scientist. But then there is a fundamental difference between a scientist and a science teacher. A science teacher can be highly superstitious. A scientist is different. Are you able to follow? A scientist, in the true sense of the term, if they have the stamina to pursue the inquiry, very soon they will hit the divine. Very soon they will hit the divine, because the very nature of inquiry opens up. The very nature of deeper and deeper inquiry brings about a greater and greater humility, wonderment. Again, I repeat, deeper and deeper inquiry brings about a greater humility. Correct? Because in anything that you say, what is humility? I don't know. Huh? What is humility? I can never know. There's a difference. First level of humility is I don't know. In that statement, I don't know, you keep a possibility that future you can know. You say, I don't know, I'm talking about the present. But in future, I can know. When you say I can never know, it means the door is closed. What is the door is closed? The door is closed for you to claim I know anything assertively. For in any object that you say I know, on deeper inquiry, you understand what you don't know in that is much more than what you know. I say this is a glass. I know. What I know, it's a glass. But what I don't know about the same glass, not something else. About the same glass, what I don't know. How was it made? How was it made? Whether it is going to be beneficial or harmful. How long it's going to last. How is it that the nature has created the elements which can be tapped into infinite potential? Because unless the potential is there, you cannot make it. It means when the elements came in, when the elements were made, it is made with that infinite potential of, with that infinite capacity to turn into infinite names, infinite forms. How can you know all that? Are you able to follow? Therefore, the person of deeper inquiry will always, a scientist means one who doesn't stop inquiry. Correct? Scientist means one who doesn't stop the inquiry till they hit the end. That person we call as a scientist. Correct? When that person hits the end, what is the end they will hit? They will become, correct. They will become ascharya. They get into wonderment. What is the wonderment? How is it that it is? What they thought as the possibility of knowing always leads to a state where you can never know. You have lived with the person for 30 years, 40 years. Can you say, I know that person fully? You can't. Yeah, I have lived with this person for 40 years. I know this person fully, sir. Can you say that? You can never say that because you don't know. Therefore, scientific inquiry, when it is taken to its logical conclusion, will automatically mature into contemplation. Into contemplation. That's where you find some of the extraordinary scientists becoming philosophers. Some of the extraordinary scientists always talk the language of philosophy. Why? Because it's naturally ends there. Most of the person what we call a scientist are most of the persons whom we call a scientist are superstitious, using science for their bread and butter. They are not scientists. Are you able to understand the difference? Using a field of activity for bread and butter. Somebody will use music as a bread and butter. This man is using science for bread and butter. Just because a person is using science for bread and butter doesn't make that person a scientist. Are you able to understand? Very simple. A science teacher need not be a scientist. What is the difference? Science means taking the inquiry to a logical conclusion. What is the logical conclusion of any inquiry? The logical conclusion of any inquiry, the logical conclusion of all inquiry is, I can never know. I can never know anything fully. Again, I repeat. The logical conclusion of all inquiry is, I can never know anything fully. What a wonderful state that is. What a wonderful. Ego will not like this. Ego will say, sir, I know. The ego will say, no, it's not like that. I know. Are you able to follow? What we call as atheist today and theist today both belongs to the same category. Atheist also is of the same category today. Theist also is of the same category because both grow up in a conditioning. Both grow up in a conditioning. If inquiry goes to the core, wonderment will happen. The moment a person has reached the state of wonderment, that person will not be allergic to any word. See, so-called atheists are allergic to the word God. Nature nu sollu. Yeah, iyarkai nu sollu. God nu sollu kuda. What difference does it make whether you say God or nature? Yeah, because atheist says no. Nature exists, but God doesn't. What they mean by God is, they believe that a God means their notion of God is a form. They believe God means form. That is very elementary, where we don't discuss that at all. Are you able to follow? Seriya? At any point of time, inquiry will lead to contemplation. If inquiry is not resulting in contemplation, means somewhere down the line you got fatigued and stopped the inquiry. That is possible. Because of fatigue, you may have stopped the inquiry. But inquiry logically will take you to contemplation. You take the telescope and look at the galaxy. How will you not become contemplative? Even a blind person will become contemplative, isn't it? You look at that, you will become, how can you not become contemplative? You follow? How can you not become, you will become contemplative. That's all. Yeah. Maybe only for a couple of seconds, but still that person is aware. Are you able to follow? Yes. Next question. Topic: how the species function. Question: Vasana means expression. What exactly does impression mean? First question. Vasana means impression. Now, what impression means? Impression means the urge to do it again and again and again. The urge to take the same path again and again and again is called impression. Are you able to follow? Impression means the urge to take the same path again and again and again. The urge to do the same thing again and again and again is called the vasana. Why the urge? Because where the groove is made, it's easy for the thoughts to flow. Deeper the groove, more easier to flow. So what does impression means? Impression means the uncontrollable urge. Again, impression means the uncontrollable urge to do the same thing again and again and again. The sight will trigger, or I will look for it. I will search for it. Are you able to follow? Either the sight will trigger. If the sight is not there, I will start searching for it, isn't it? Like in those days, we give the examples. People are newspaper on the section icon. You open the newspaper, there is an entertainment column. What happens in the city that day? Yeah. In the theater, in the movies, there will be a section in which sabha, which concert, which drama is happening. So you will, if you have an impression, you will search for it. Another is you just keep glancing the newspaper. You may look at it and you may fall for it. Are you able to understand the difference? Most of the times you will search for it. Long back, I caught myself searching for something every day in that column. Then I started, why am I? When there are so many things in that paper, why go to the Hindu page 3? Nowadays it's going in very standard. Straight away, last page in crossword sports. Last third page in share market. Third page in entertainment. It is the blueprint is laid out very clearly in the Hindu newspaper. So some will straight away go there. Some will straight away go to the last page. Some will straight away go to the share market page. Impression. You search for it. Are you able to follow? So what does impression means? An uncontrollable urge to do the same thing again and again and again is called a vasana impression. Is it okay? Is the definition okay? Next question. Is package impression? Is package an impression? Now, don't confuse package with impression. Package means the choices that you make, the choice that you make comes to you as a package. Package means what? Something in it you like, something in it you may not like. So the discussion about package and consequences is a separate discussion unconnected to the vasana, the impression. Are you able to follow? For example, if I say, I want a television. I say, I want a television. Let us say, I want a television. It's a package. Okay, it comes from the vasana. What is the vasana? I want a television. Correct? Now the television is there in front. It's a package. Package implies what? When you say, I want it, or when you say, I don't want something, again I repeat. When you say, I want something, or when you say, I don't want something. When I say, I want this person, or when you say, I don't want this person, based on what you say this? Based on what you say, I want or I don't want? When you say, I want, the appealing part of the package. When you say, I don't want, the non-appealing part of the package. Are you able to follow? When you say, I want this TV, the appealing part of the package. I don't want this TV because from the time you got, from the third day, it is giving you, from the third day, it is giving you trouble. So the non-appealing part of the package, I say, I don't want. Are you able to follow till now? When you say, I want a television, it's simply because of what? I want a television is what? Is vasana, impression. Are you okay till now? Wanting the television is impression, vasana. What is the television made up of? Is a package, which will not be only tied to your vasana. It has something of its own. So package means recognizing the entity completely as its own, unconnected to your vasana. That is called package. Unmute her. She wants to ask for a clarification. Ranjini. Unmute Ranjini. She wants to ask a clarification. Yeah.
No, by package, what I meant was when a person is born, he or she comes with a package. What he comes and acquires later to the existing package is not what I'm asking. I'm asking when a person is born, he is born with a certain package. So is that package?
There we will not use the word package. A person is born with a set of vasanas. It stops there. We will not use the word package. The word package is specifically used in terms of, the word package is specifically used in the context of what? The word package is specifically used in the context of when you are exercising a choice. Don't use the word package here. It will be very confusing. A person is born with a set of vasanas. Don't use the word package here. Package is used in the specific context. What is the specific context in which the word package is used? When you are making a choice, are you aware of the choice that you are making? That's all. Are you able to follow? Don't use the word package here. Use the word when a person is born, the person is born with a set of vasanas. We don't say he's born as a package. That's not, that is using words which will not give any clarity, neither the understanding of vasana nor understanding of the word package. You follow? So don't use the word package there. Yeah, all human beings are born with all species. Why only human beings? All species come into a particular physical body because of a set of vasana. That's all. Embodiment means a physical body. So all species gets into a physical body because of a set of vasana. You follow? The third clarification. It said, it's not what you do matters, it's how you do matters. What belongs to vasana and how belongs to guna. Elaborate with example. Again, I repeat. It's a very off-quoted statement. It's not what you do that matters, it is how you do it. So what belongs to vasana and how belongs to guna? Please elaborate with example. Example. What is the example? Take the class and the speaker. Class means speaker. Take the speaker. I am talking because I have a vasana to talk. Correct? Take the speaker as an example. It's easy. How I do it will be dependent on the guna. Meaning, if it is predominantly tamasic, there will be an indifference attitude towards the talk. There will be a very indifferent attitude towards the talk. What is an indifferent attitude? இவங்களுக்குலாம் இது போறோம் சும்மா இவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் சொல்லிக் கொடு இவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் பெருசாலாம் ஒன்றும் சொல்லிக் கொடுக்க தேவையில்லை எல்லாம் இவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் இது போறோம் I will not even make an effort to do anything, simply by heart a few things and come back and how I do it. If it is predominantly tamoguna, how it will manifest? This is how it will manifest. Rajoguna. How Rajoguna will be? After the class is over, I will want to take a feedback from everybody. How was the class today? Did you all benefit? Is it easy for you all to practice? I'm so agitated about the talk. I'm so agitated about the result of the talk. It means Rajoguna. Action is the same. What is action? Package and consequence. I'm still talking on the topic of package and consequence. Able to follow? Sattva guna predominant means what? This is my nature. This is my vasana. This is my nature. This is what I can do. I do it to the best of my ability. I put my heart and soul to the best of my ability and talk. And leave the rest to divine. Sattva guna. Are you able to follow? Same action. What is that action? Talking. Vasana. I can't say I don't have a vasana to talk and then keep talking 24/7. It's not possible, isn't it? There is a vasana. Otherwise, how is it possible? It's not possible. So, what I do is the act of talking. Are you able to follow? How I do it is dependent upon the guna. How I do it will be dependent upon the guna. Are you able to follow? The same act of talking can be done with what I will get. Same talk, what I will get. Some name, some fame, some popularity, some following. Yeah. At the class go varuvangala matangala, isn't it? So yeah, Anshu, what I said is how to keep the flock entertained so that they all will come for the next week also. Otherwise, I come and open, nobody is there. Yeah, Ganesh will send a message on Wednesday morning, say, sir, we are all not in station. He's very much in station. Simply he's saying, I'm not in station. Yeah, so not in station means I can't come. I said, it's okay. Then I'll tell Venkat, put it on Zoom. Okay. Anshu will send a message, sir. Just excuse me for today. Excuse me for today. Excused forever, isn't it? Why only today? Excused for forever. Open the Zoom. Nobody is there. Yeah. அப்படியே யாராவது வந்தாங்கன்னா கூட சாரி சார் we came in by mistake or there. Yeah. So much of worry. Are you able to follow? So much of worry, so much of tension, so much of anxiety. So how to? So I have to sit and prepare and prepare and prepare to keep it entertained. Jokes சொல்லணும், politics பத்தி பேசணும். அப்பதான் everybody will get entertained, and then only people will. In all this, what is forgotten? Vedanta will not be. Yeah. இந்த தமோ குணாலையும் ரஜோ குணாலையும் வேதாந்தா பேசுறோம்னு except Vedanta, everything else will happen. Are you able to follow? Sattva guna. What is Sattva guna? Tamo guna, what will I get? Rajo guna, an egoistic stance that, oh my God, if I don't go, if I don't teach, Vedanta will perish. Yeah, correct. Vedanta will perish. If Arvindan illana, Vedanta is perished. Therefore, it is Arvindan's responsibility to hold Atlas Madri, Atlas our, where he, the entire thing, burden. See, tamas is indifference, rajas is a burden. You will follow? See, tamo guna la indifference, rajo guna la burden, sattva guna la absence of these two. When these two are not there, you are not, there is no burden of action, there is no tamasic way of action when the absence of these two is sattva. That's why whenever you want to understand sattva, understand rajas and tamas fully. Understand rajo guna, tamo guna fully, and then say sattva means not these two. That will be much easier to understand sattva guna than saying sattva means. Gita beautifully says sattva means luminous, he says. Prakasham, he says. Sattva means luminous. What is luminous? What is light? That calmness gives a clarity that anything that person will be able to understand. So forget about sattva guna as in how they talk about it. Understand rajo guna, tamo guna completely. And when you understand rajo guna, tamo guna fully, completely, absence of these two becomes sattva. So yeah, what is rajo guna? I said one word. I said rajo guna means burden. Tamo guna ku indifference. Yeah. தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா இன்டிஃபரன்ஸ் தமிழ்ல எப்படி சொல்றது? அலட்சியம். Alatcham, correct. Indifference and alatcham. Don't care. The very indifferent attitude. The very indifferent attitude towards everything. Yeah. That is tamoguna. So, where there is no burden, rajoguna is a burden. Another seeker must vella vandarunnu. Whenever a person is in a hurry to finish the action, you can understand that person is in rajasic. Ena burden mari irukku. Yeah, damal thik pota bada really, isn't it? Able to follow? So rajoguna means burden, tamoguna means indifference, heedlessness. Heedlessness is a beautiful word, pramada. Tamas means pramada, heedlessness. Wherever this heedlessness is absent, burden is absent, what will be there? What will be there? Calmness will be there. Equanimity will be there. You follow? That is sattva guna. So, it's not what you do that matters, it is how you do it. Same thing we studied in detail when we did the Prarabdha Purushartha in Vedanta treatise. What you meet in life is prarabdha. How you meet is purushartha. What you meet in life is your prarabdha. How you meet it is purushartha. And it is always important how I meet it, not what I am in. What I am in, I cannot do anything about it because I have already bill எல்லாம் pay பண்ணியாச்சு. கையில தான் வந்துரும். அவ்வளவுதான். Nothing can be done about it. How I do it. So, what I face is prarabdha. How I face is purushartha. Purushartha means effort. How I want to face it. How I want to face it, I can do something about it. Are you able to follow? So, it's not what you do that matters, it is how you do. This can be the elaboration that I gave can be given to all human activities. It can be given to a business activity. It can be given to a cooking activity. It can be done to an artist. It can be equated to all human activities, not necessarily only talking. I just use this as an example, but these three can be applied in all. When you are cooking, there can be a sattvic way of cooking, no? What is the sattvic way of cooking? Food is tasty. Food is tasty. Look is good. The look of it is good. The smell of it is good. When it goes into you also, it's good. And when you serve, smilingly, love and care. And then you look into the kitchen. Clean. Wow, sattva guna it is. Yeah. Opposite of that is one coffee. You make 4 vessels. The sink is full, isn't it? Yeah. All that you have made is just coffee. Yeah. The sink is piled up. The kitchen is all over. My God, you feel like not asking for coffee? What is Rajoguna? That is Tamoguna. What is Rajoguna? You know, this coffee I made with a lot of love and affection. If there is any fault in that, idalla Rajoguna. Are you able to follow? If there is any fault in that coffee, please bear with me. I'm only learning. In the preface, first sip, everything will be very clear. Why even give this entire preface? Not needed at all, isn't it? That is Rajoguna. Why? So agitated about the result. So concerned about the result. So worried. So I want to prepare that person about the result even before. Yeah. Prasanthi. Sorry, Commissioner. Sattvic cooking, Sriram cooking. Yeah, I have seen him cooking. Oh my God. As he is cooking, it is cleaned also. My God, you don't even know whether cooking has happened in or not, isn't it? Sattva. So it's not what you do that matters. It is how you do. I still remember that day he was making some bindi. Mandeka he was making. Some Mandeka curry he was making. Oh my God. Watching. Very enough under. What else do we do? Then I understood Sri Ram's only condition is commissioner should not come anyway into the house. Kitchen Varadino, he's saying. Sri Ram, correct or wrong? Right, no. Yeah. No, he's sitting here. That's why I'm asking. Both are sitting here. You follow? Same thing. It's not what you do, it is how you do. What you do is depending upon your vasana. How you do is dependent upon your guna. It can be about cooking, it can be about talking, it can be about painting, it can be about singing, it can be about anything. It can be about anything. The Upanishad talks about a sattvic butcher. Butchering in a sattvic way. My God, how is that possible? But that is also there. Something so sattvic in that. You follow? That's what the statement says. It's not what you do that matters, it is how you do. She only asked, please elaborate with one example. I gave 3-4 examples. So that tonight is Shanti at home. Tonight there will be Shanti. Okay? That's all, no, Anshu? Over?
So one question from me.
One question from you. Okay. Yes.
So you mentioned inquiry,
Yeah.
but many a times, because we are so conditioned, everything looks right because of that. So we don't know what to inquire. Only when we are listening to the lectures and when you question things and things are put in a different light, then we see. But otherwise, apart from that, we don't know how to inquire. Is there a way we should inquire?
Now, you have to be taught and trained into inquiry. You cannot do it by yourself. Nobody can do it by themselves. They have to be taught, they have to be trained. What is the training? Keep asking questions. Now, beyond a point, you can never ask questions. So what does Vedanta do? It will ask a question and it will answer. Sometimes people ask question and it will be an answer. Sometimes how it will happen? Ramtirtha says, if there are no questions, proposition after proposition will be taken up and elaborated. Questions after question will be taken up and elaborated by themselves. That's the typical Vedantic way of teaching. That's where if you see those commentaries, Bhashyas and all that, this person, nobody is asking them, nobody is saying anything. This person says this person says this person says this. And the integrity with which they can sum up what that other person is saying, the person who's qualified in that subject will not know how to summarize it so beautifully. Such a wonderful, such a beautiful thing. They will not know how to summarize. So this person will summarize it. So they will come up with a honest representation of that opinion, and then they give an answer to that. Sometimes when question will be asked, there will be an answer. Where there are no questions asked, the knowledge itself will ask a question and do. So in the initial stages, nobody will know how to ask. When I say nobody will know how to ask means, there is a very basic tamoguna nature that prevents us from asking. It's a basic tamoguna, what we call as, intellectual lethargy. There is an intellectual lethargy that prevents us from questions. Or the first layer of question itself will give such a satisfaction. So what do? We give an answer, and then we ourselves will point out the fallacy in that answer, and then to overcome that fallacy, something else will be told, and we ourselves will say the fallacy in that. The teaching tradition continues. You follow? That's how it will be done. So initially, you cannot do it by yourself. Even if you are sincerely following the methodology of teaching, by default, you will start asking questions at some point of time. it will happen. You follow? But you can, nobody can start by themselves. They have to be trained. Also, you need data to question. What will you question if you don't have any? Even to question, you need some basic knowledge. Even without any basic knowledge, from where will question come? Therefore, knowledge is required, and you will be taught to question. You will be trained to question. Even though we say questioning is natural, it stops because of the tamo guna of the human nature. You follow? With this, we conclude for today, and we continue with the dilemma of choice, hopefully next week.